This video is for if you missed the first day of classes, so you missed the syllabus. You'll be watching this on Edpuzzle. I track that you watched it and you'll get some credit for it. So, start, materials. Make sure you're coming to class every day with a Chromebook and a charger. You should have paper, something to write with, and something to hold your papers with. If you're in person, I can help you get those things. Expectations, these are really important. So the class is built on respect, and I define respect as giving people the best opportunity they can have. That means you, your peers, your school, me, everyone. So that means that you're advocating for yourself, asking questions when you have them. You're making sure that the things you do are not making people in the class have a hard time learning or feel uncomfortable, as well as the school and me. Part of that is keeping your actions safe for work. That means school appropriate. I have absolutely zero tolerance for identity-based slurs and insults. That is super important. There will be no warning. There will be no discussion. I have no tolerance for identity-based slurs and insults. Don't be a mean person. Be prepared for class, and math is going to be kind of tough. Nobody is born knowing how to take a tangent of a triangle. We're going to have to learn that. So I want you to make sure you're not using the word can't when we're talking about math. You might be confused in the beginning. It makes perfect sense to be confused in the beginning, but you will get it. In the same way, I do a lot of discovery learning. So that means that I'm going to tell you something, and I'm going to ask you to extend what you already know to come up with something I didn't tell you. So if you say something like, you never taught that to us, I know. I want you to learn it. I want you to use your brain and to engage and to extend. And I'm going to be asking you questions like, what do you think? I don't know is not an acceptable answer. Tell me what you think. Try to make an educated guess. If you really don't know, tell me what's making it confusing. Really engage your brain. That's how we're going to learn in this class. I do not want to hear you say, I don't know. The only time I expect you to know is during a knowledge check. And just with that, learning takes place when we engage our brains. Be respectful for yourself by allowing yourself to learn. Don't copy other people. Make sure you are giving me what you know so that I can help you. It's okay if you don't get things right. You can redo anything forever. I ask that you give me 90 minutes of focused work time every day. If you miss class, you owe me 90 minutes. If you give me 90 minutes of focused work time every day, there will be no homework. This class uses mastery-based learning, which means the important part is that you master each of the concepts that we'll be talking about this year. It's not important how you do it or when you do it, just that you do it. That's 60% of your grade, that you've mastered each of those concepts that we brought up. The rest of your grade is ways that you can show mastery. So we have quick questions. There's going to be one quick question per standard, and it's about extending your knowledge. Knowledge checks, that's the only time I expect you to know what's going on. It's at the end of each unit. You can redo those as many times as you need also. Projects, there'll be 1 to 2. The first unit's long, so there'll be 3 projects per unit. They're another opportunity to show mastery, and you can fix those as many times. So you'll turn them in, I'll grade it, and you can fix it. And then classwork, we're doing work every day in class. I grade classwork on Mondays, so if it's not been a Monday, don't ask me about it. I will grade it on Mondays. If it's really late, you're going to have to give me a longer time to grade it. If you would like to use classwork to show mastery, you need to ask me to grade it for correctness because it's typically graded on completeness and effort. I want you to read this stuff on your own, but I want to highlight 2 of these. The first, extenuating circumstances. I know that things are going to be tough, and I know that stuff comes up, and sometimes geometry is not the top thing on your mind. I get that. However, I cannot help you if you don't tell me that that's what's going on. If you tell me that you need help, that for some reason you can't reach the class requirements, I can make an accommodation, we can extend things, we can change things, we can make it work. But if you don't do that, I cannot help you. You don't have to tell me why you're having a hard time, just that you are and that we need to come up with a solution. And then the last important thing here is a safe space. This classroom is for everybody. If you make people feel uncomfortable, we're going to have a problem. People can be whoever they want to be a nice person. So let's talk about Canvas briefly. We're going to talk about this more later, but for now, I just want to point out some highlights. So on the homepage, you've got these buttons. This Google Meet button will send you directly to the Google Meets, and I even have the typical times that we meet. You've got the week's overview, the class notebook, which we'll talk about later. There is one module per week, and in that weekly module, you will see a week overview and then all of the assignments for that week. The week overview will say what we're doing each day. It'll probably change a little bit, but this is the general plan. And at the bottom, it has all of the assignments that we need to have done for that week. If you don't want to find it in there, you're just going to have to make sure that you completed everything in the week 1 module and then everything in the week 2 module. We're also going to use it for grades and feedback and deadlines. It's really important that you follow directions on Canvas, particularly when you're turning in assignments. So for example, this first assignment, digital bulletin board, tells you that when you're finished, you need to type done. So you'll press submit, you'll type done, you'll press submit. If you don't do that, your assignment will not be graded and you will not get credit. So be careful that everything on Canvas, you're following close directions. We'll talk about that more in the future. That's the general expectations. Please let me know if you have any questions. I'm always here to talk or to answer questions